Hey everybody! Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. Please excuse my voice. It is going for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Oh wait, I can kind of explain. For any of you who live in the tri-state area, New York City, New Jersey area, come out to this play. It's in Lincoln Park, New Jersey. I will put the address in the description box below. It's a really great play about life and about death and the different struggles that we face. And it's really great. I think it's a great production. It started on this past Saturday and it goes through Sunday. So I'll put all the details below. So today's video is going to be a kind of get ready with me, but really like a chit chat, kind of talk to you about something that was heavy on my heart, and I really just kind of wanted to share. Before we jump into the nitty gritty, oh yes, I did fill in my eyebrows and I did put powder on my face because that takes too long and I didn't want to be rambling. I really want to say that I genuinely believe that the men that I dated in my life are great men. Just because we didn't end up together does not make them bad men. I think they all have great hearts, and I do think that the woman that ends up with them will be very fortunate. But as I get into what I'm talking to, it might sound like I'm, angry or bitter or just holding something against them. I hold nothing against them. I just think that when I dated some of them specifically, I really was in a different place, in a different mindset, and that affected. I really say, I love both of my parents. Both of my parents are like literally like my favorite people. My mom and me. We don't hit heads really anymore, but she's funny. But I do want to say that I have a really great dad. My dad's a really great man. Like, he's really an amazing person, and I just want to say that because I am talking about my self-worth and and confidence in this video, and by no means is this coming from a place of like how I was raised. I was raised with a dad who, I'm his only daughter, and he really for as long as I can remember has raised me to see my worth and my value. I just think at a point in time I kind of just lost myself in that, and kind of, the whole approach as a child, like, oh, my parents are supposed to say that about me, they're supposed to say that, but like that doesn't shy away from the fact that my dad is a really great man. He really loves his family. He's just a really great man. So I would say that when I was younger, I was a really shy, like a super shy girl. I just, like, some people find it hard to believe now, but I was very, very, very shy. I'm introverted, but at that age I was very shy and like just fearful of like just people, I think. I don't know why. And I'm 5'6" right now. That's my height. And at about 9 or 10, I was 5'3", 5'4", which is pretty tall. I would say it's pretty tall for a 9 or 10-year-old. Especially, just being around people who aren't necessarily your height, and you're being around a bunch of kids who probably are a little on the shorter side. And I was taller than all the boys, I was taller than all the girls. And I really just went through my awkward phase kind of before everyone else, I would say. Because I was just growing super, super fast. And like, it's funny because my mom actually, she gets so mad at me when I like look at pictures of myself at that age and I'm just like, ew, this is disgusting. Like, she feels like as if I'm offending her because I'm her child, and she's like, I carried you for all those months and I had to push you out in labor, and like, here you are making fun of yourself. But I really just, like, that girl was, I went through an awkward phase. I feel like most of us go through an awkward phase, and I was 5'3", very, very skinny. Because I was growing so fast, my mom she wouldn't, like, she's really good with money, my mom, so she's gonna penny pinch, I guess is the word. So she wasn't about to just go buy me clothes weekly because I was growing. So my pants started to be high watered, and when they would get high watered, we would just like take the hem down, but they were still high watered. And then because I wanted to be like the cool kids who were all wearing platform, nasty looking Skechers, and I hate those shoes to this day, my mom would buy those for me because I wanted to be part of the cool kids. So imagine me, like, let's just stop for a minute. I'm 5'3", very skinny. I'm skinny now, but I was skinnier when I was younger. I started to kind of develop, so I guess I had a little bit of a chest, but I ended up hating that. High watered pants, Bugs Bunny, purple, baby glasses that were too small for my face, and a size like 15 in shoes. Because my mom, again, she was like, you're growing too fast, so if you're going to keep growing like this, we're just going to get you your shoe sizes 2 sizes up and you just grow into them. But eventually I stopped growing, specifically who she was, but I didn't like anything about myself at that age. I really just was like, angry, and I would be like, God, like, why did you make me this way? And I really just, I didn't like her because I was going through an awkward phase and I didn't know how to really kind of deal with it. So I didn't like that girl. And so yeah, like most awkward phases, you go through them and you come out of them. So I started to come out of mine, and it's like, it was over. The awkward stage was over. So I didn't, I grew into my body. I stopped growing. I prayed hard enough and I stopped growing. Everything stopped growing. My chest size stopped growing. I was no longer filling out, as they say, coming out of that. So my best friend, I think she knows this, but I don't think her brother knows this because I never like brought this up after it was said. But when I was younger, I had a crush on her older brother, my best friend, who's now like a big brother to me. And he said to me one day, kind of in the middle of my awkward phase, kind of coming out of it, really hating myself, really not liking the way that I looked, thinking that I was ugly. He said to me, and when you think about it, it really could have been taken as an insult, but I did not take it as an insult because I had a crush on him and I didn't like the way that I looked. So anything that was really said to me would have been accepted. But he was like, you're going to be really pretty when you're older. And I swore that like changed my whole life. Like we were talking about like, not the age of arrival, but like when you really like kind of, as a woman, like you change. You go from being that like little girl looking type physique and everything, and then you start to look like a woman. And it was like, for me, I thought that age was 21. So I like held on to the words that he said to me, and I was like, there's hope, Kelsley. You're not going to be ugly forever. Like what that did for me, and I never really wanted to kind of point out what it did, is that my confidence was only built in how a man viewed me. Like I was only confident in myself if a guy said I was pretty, or he said this, or he said that. And that I really I took that for a while. I kind of didn't realize all this stuff until after I came out of realizing that my confidence and my self-worth had kind of like changed. So I went from being, that girl. And then the story changes to, there was like a comment that was made that I'm aware of now. At the time, I was aware of it then, but I just didn't say it. And a few people had said it. Not like just one person said it. But they were basically saying, all I am is a pretty face that I have. They're like, I don't know what guys see in her. I don't know what people see in her. Like, all she is a pretty face. There's no personality. Like, they're only saying if anyone's interested in me, it's only because I'm pretty. And that at that time, like if that was said to me now, I'd be like, yeah. But at the time, I was younger. I think in like middle school, going into high school, and I really took that to heart, and I started to believe that. And that was the thing. That was the issue there. You can't really believe what other people are saying about you, especially because sometimes these people are saying things out of a place of hurt. So yeah, that was what was said, and I believed it. I was like, yo, like, I ain't nothing. Like, I don't have a personality, like, and I wanted to prove a point that was wrong. Like, I believed it to the point where I felt like I needed to prove that it was wrong. And, like, there is more to me, and, like, people aren't just friends with me, or guys aren't just interested in me because I'm pretty. They think I'm pretty. They think I'm a cool person. They think I have a good heart and I'm fun to be around. And for me, it just hurt because I was like, I don't want to just be a face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just be something to look at. Like, I want you to like me. Because the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of beautiful women in this world. So why would I want you to just be attracted to my face or the fact that my hair is long and you think that's cool? Like, no, I want you to be attracted to me. But I was set to prove that. I went with a mindset, I'm going to prove that. And the college Kelsley and I would say the high school Kelsley, where they differed, is the college Kelsley the high school Kelsley really had what I like to call a zero BS tolerance. I really my friend always said, she's like, you're so mean to guys. But I just didn't have time to really like play around. Like I wasn't here for me giving you my heart and giving you my attention and you playing games. Like I really was not here. I just would not pay you no mind. I'll cut you off. I'd act like I don't know you. I'll act like I never spoke to you. I'd be like, I never spoke to him. Be like, yeah, I heard he was talking to so-and-so. I'm like, beats me because I don't know him. That's just how I acted. When the Kelsley that got to college, she really just I think I just lost a sense of who I was, because at that point I was like, I'm trying to prove a point, and I wouldn't just say people I dated, people even who I was friends with didn't deserve to be friends with me, I would say. And nothing against them, but there was just a lot of things that were kind of just rude. The way people talk to you, the things that were said behind your back, like the way the standard of friendship that I kind of held and I knew I was worth as a friend even fell through the cracks. Like I didn't care because, or I didn't really say anything about it. Cause like, let's give an example. Freshman year, there was like a whole big thing with friends and just people that I had met. And mind you, when you go to college, anyone who's getting ready to go to college, please understand that the people you meet your freshman year won't always be the people that you come out with, especially that first year, because that first year everyone's trying to impress everyone. But the people that I kind of, you know, granted, I do have friends that I still had from freshman year. I think I have at least a handful of them, but not all of them. There was just a lot of things that were said, and I kind of just like brushed it because I wanted to prove a point. Like, in order for me to prove those people wrong that said, like, you're just a pretty face, you have no personality, you know, like all your, you know, relationships will just be that. I felt like I needed to hold on to relationships no matter what, at any cost. I needed to be friends with this person. I needed to stay there for them because I needed to prove the point that they're friends with me because they think I'm cool. Like, I had to prove, or he's dating me because he thinks my personality is great, like, not just because he's a face. And I felt like I couldn't prove that if I didn't have friends, if I didn't have people that I dated for more than a month. Because if I didn't date him for more than a month, that meant, oh, okay, well, clearly, like, you were pretty, he saw that you're pretty, and then he got bored with you, and that's why he left. And that wasn't necessarily the case at all. But I had to prove that. I had to let things slide. I had to let, you know, one in particular, I let a lot of what happened when we were dating kind of slide and just go under the rug because I didn't want to have to face the idea that he might just be there. And I don't think he was. I really don't think he at all. Honestly, I don't think any of them were. But I didn't believe that. And I didn't realize, like, one day one of my friends, he said to me, he's like, in the midst of my situation with somebody, he's like, I ain't gonna say nothing, but know your worth. I was like, please, like, I know my worth. Like, I didn't even feel like at that point that I had lost any worth or value because I was like, I know my worth. Like, please, you don't have to tell me that. Like, my dad raised me to have a, but I started to kind of like, when I looked at it and I was like, when I came out of college, I really did turn back and look at the girl. I'm like, who were you? Like, I wouldn't have been in that relationship as long as I would. I wouldn't have stayed that close of friends with that person who literally had nothing good to say about me. Like, I wouldn't have done that because it's not me. And not to say that I'm out once something goes crazy, but I value myself. I valued at that girl in high school. I valued myself enough to know to know where to put a line. Just be like, I will not, when we get to this line, that's what I'm not standing for. And I'm not going to just be here for you to walk all over and treat however and talk to like I'm some whatever. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and blame the men that I dated because there's only a few that I'm really thinking about. But even with just friendships, like with some of the people that I was friends with, especially my male friendships, because I think that was the kicker for me. Like, when that comment was made about me not having a personality, I started to envy girls who could have male friends. Like, especially if they could have a male friend, like, maybe you won't be best friends, but like, you dated him and now he's like still in your life and he wants to like see what's going on and y'all like became cordial and cool. I envy that because it had that, up until that point, it had never happened to me. Like, it just seemed like I got the men who were like, you're either going to date me or I want nothing to do with you. And because that comment, like I said, if that comment was never made about me, I don't think I would have cared because I wasn't interested in them. But I think for me, it kept driving me to want to prove a point that like, no, like, well, why don't they want to be friends with me? Like, why? It's probably because my personality sucks and they just don't see anything. And so I'm going to make them friends with me and I'm going to just all the foolery. When I really think about it, it was just foolishness. I could say confidently I have one, maybe two or three real male friends who I felt like really gave me the best advice that I should have heard. But I just think with other ones, it kind of like, I never really knew what it was. I never really could, I felt like no one really wants to be friends with you. They just like being around you because they think you're cute or whatever the reason it may be. And I believe that. I believe that there was no value to myself other than the fact that I'm pretty. And that's the thing that I always say, like, to girls and women nowadays, it's just like, that's not enough. Like, yes, it's great to think that you're beautiful and to really love the physical person that you are, but I'm not talking about, you know, you loving yourself because you like the way this looks or you like the way that looks. I'm talking about you loving yourself because of what's inside of you and because of the beauty that I find is most important. The beauty that shines out from within. I think that's more important. And for me, I couldn't find that girl. I let other people tell me who I was. I let men define how I looked. You know, I let men and women, because like I said, it wasn't just the men that I dated. It was some of the people in my life. I let them define who I was. And like, there's no other quicker way to get lost in yourself and not really have a sense of identity if you are letting the world define you. Even the other day, I had a thought, like, I would say that, I like to say that I have insecurities. I don't like to say that I'm insecure or that I have low self-esteem. I like to say that I have insecurities. I feel like we all have things about ourselves that we may not be, you know, ready to show to the world. You know, we may not be 100% comfortable, but the thing that I always like to tell myself is don't let it hold you back. You know, like, let's say, for instance, if I didn't like my knees because I have scars on my knees from falling when I was a little girl, I'm not about to, yeah, maybe I don't like my knees. I'm not the biggest fan of my knees, but I'm not about to not wear shorts and not wear skirts and not want to go to the pool and not want to do this because I'm back to the point of letting people kind of define who you are and how you love yourself. I was feeling very insecure, like, recently, pretty much, like, just insecure about my hair, insecure about my skin, like, just nitpicking everything. I'm like, yo, I realized that was stemming from, and this is the thing about social media, and I work in social media, and I love social media, but you have to be careful with it. I think Instagram sometimes can be a breeding ground for you to feel insecure. And I realized that I was spending a lot of time on the Explore page looking at all these women who look perfect. And I had to remind myself, like, Kelsley, you use Photoshop airbrushing apps. Yeah, maybe you might not be adding like 50 extra pounds to yourself or contouring your nose, but you smooth your skin, you adjust things if like your hair is out of place, you do all these things. What makes you think that these other girls who are on Instagram aren't doing the same thing? Be careful, because it really does, it was starting to make me not like myself. Like, I was just like, I'm kind of getting insecure. And that's why I love Pinterest. I like started to lean on Pinterest a lot more, because on Pinterest I feel inspired. I feel, you know, I can figure out the way to get my skin to look like that on Instagram if I want to, as opposed to just staring at these other people on Instagram like, why don't I look like that? But that's the problem that I say, like, you can't really put your self-worth and your self-confidence in other people. It's for you to feel. Because they'll fail you. They really will. And I like looked back and realized like how destructive it was making me, in a sense, and how it was confusing my mind, because your mind is very powerful. I believed what was said. I didn't feel confident unless a man told me, you know, that he liked this about me, or that he liked me. I didn't feel confident in myself. I didn't really understand why people were friends with me or why guys liked me. And as I say, some of them might have really liked me. Some of them might have been there for malicious reasons. But I off the cuff started to believe that I already had a guard up. Like, I knew at that point when I was unsure and insecure of myself and didn't really know what I was worthy of, I started to question why anyone was friends with me. I'm like, well, why would you want to be friends with me? Like, there's no personality or there's no depth to me. Like, there's nothing that you should want to be friends with. Like, why do you want to be friends with me? And if the guy said he liked me, I'm like, well, why does he like me? Like, there's nothing for him to like. I believe that. I believe that when I was dating that person, the people that I was dating, like, you know, well, he's treating you this way and this is happening because that's not what I didn't feel like that's what I deserved, but I felt like it was just like, well, that's what it is, because, you know, there's no depth to you and there's nothing of interest. Like, that's what you are, and he's just responding to what he thinks, you know, like, he's like, oh, I think she's pretty. But I started to kind of self-sabotage is the word, and really develop like trust issues with people and a lot of just self-hate, because I believed what was said about me. I really did believe, like, there's nothing, there's no depth to you. You're just a pretty face. That's all you're just a little cute girl that people are like, oh, she's pretty. But that's it. Like, there's no reason why people want to be in your life other than that. When I graduated, I really had to get to a point where I realized I had to talk to myself. I had to really say to myself, like, you're a fool to think this. Like, look at the people who are in your life. Like, look at the friends that you do have. Look at the guys that you did that were actually, you know, great. No, don't look at the ones that were not so great. Do you think that these people are around you because, you know, like, they value you? They say you're a great friend because of XYZ, not because you have nice shoes. Like, it's not physical things about you. It's not even your material things. They value you. They see the value in you. And not to say that that's what made me value myself, but I had to show myself what it really was. Like, I had to open my eyes and be like, but look, like, stop focusing in on so much that comment that was made about you that really made you question yourself, or the fact that that guy said you're pretty and now you think that you're pretty. Like, stop focusing on, do you look in the mirror? Like, do you see things that you think are pretty? And even if I didn't physically see them, like, are there things in your heart that you know your heart probably better than anyone else on this earth? Well, God understands my heart better than me, but I'm talking about on this heart. Like, you know what you're feeling. I'm like, do you think you have a good heart? Do you think you have good intentions? Like, that's what will make you a beautiful person. That's what makes you confident. That's where your worth is lying. It's not in your face. It's not in the fact that even people think that you're fun to be around. Like, that doesn't, you know, I had to realize that I was putting my worth or my value in the wrong things. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this get ready with me chit chat kind of talk through. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching it. And I really do hope that it spoke to somebody. And yeah, thanks for watching. Or now these glasses literally like bring out an alter ego in myself that I've never even seen. Like,